How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through my brackets again. How bad it is, because it is horrible. I do apologize for missing the Friday video, and this video might come out on Tuesday. Hopefully I'll be able to get it up late night Monday. I do really apologize. Very busy still. But without further ado, let's get into it. No one wants to hear me yap about how busy I am. Colorado versus LA. Yeah. This series, I thought LA would have one. Thought LA would get one. It ended up being a sweep. It was as dominant as I thought it would be. I thought that LA would just be able to sneak one out, but no. Sweep, 4 games, done. Colorado moves on. Nice to see. That was pretty quick and simple because kind of what everyone thought about that series. Dallas versus Minnesota. I had Dallas winning in 7. Thought it was going to be an insanely close series. Dallas couldn't get anything going. I'm pretty sure on the power play, their power play just wasn't doing great at all. Yeah, Minnesota just took it in 6 and ran with it. And I was hating because I wanted Minnesota's pick to be as low as possible so the Canucks would have a better pick later in the first round. But Minnesota moves on to face Colorado, which, yeah. Vegas versus Utah. I had Utah winning in 6. You flip it over. Vegas, I just didn't think that they would get the goaltending. And Utah would beat them in the first round. Vegas got the goaltending. They found their answer in Carter Hart. And yeah, they've stormed past Utah in 6. Sucks to see. I was hoping Utah would at least get one round out of it. I thought they would be the surprise over Anaheim. But yeah, Utah falls in 6. But we go down one series. I am going through this a little bit quickly. I do apologize. But the Edmonton Oilers, I had them in winning in 6 against the Anaheim Ducks. Now, I'm pretty sure in my original video, I said when I did this bracket challenge that I'm picking the Oilers because I picked LA against them for many years. And the Oilers kept winning. I just wanted the Oilers to lose in the first round. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to pick the Oilers to win in the first round in 6 against the Ducks. You flip it. The Ducks won in 6. The Oilers dealt with some injuries, and the Ducks were a really good surprise. I thought Utah would be the surprise. It ended up being Anaheim as they moved on to the second round. That covers the Western Conference. That was pretty quick. Buffalo versus Boston. I thought it would be a 7-game win for Buffalo. A 7-game series win for Buffalo, but ended up being a 6-game series win. So I got it right. Buffalo does move on, but not the games right, which 1 game off, I'm not too entirely mad about it. I just thought, Buffalo had probably the most playoff-ready players in terms of, moving into it. Going from regular season to playoffs, just having the players that would be probably more playoff-ready without experience. And I thought that they would just, continue their success into at least the second round, and they were able to do so. Tampa versus Montreal. Honestly, I don't know if I said this in the video, but either way, going 7 games is how I thought. And I thought Tampa had the slight edge. I thought if you pick Montreal in 7, good. Going into it, yes. If you pick Tampa in 7, yes. It could go either way, but it's going 7 games. One of the closest series I thought it would be in the first round, and it was. It was insane. It was only 5 minutes of there being at least a 2-goal lead. Everything else was tied or only a 1-goal lead. Absolutely insane how close the series was. And Montreal won in 7. Tampa knocked out. They were my cup favorites. I thought they would get past Montreal, and they would have not an easy path, but they would be able to get there and move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. But Montreal moves on and knocks out my cup favorites right away. My buddy's a Habs fan, so it's nice to see. I'm kind of rooting for them. I'm not actively cheering for them, but if they go win it, I'll be happy for them. It's probably the team I'd be happiest the most to see win a Stanley Cup. After that, after the run where they were in the North Division, or they went on that amazing run. After that, I'm been sold on them, and also they're a blueprint for the Canucks rebuild. You see how good the Habs are doing and what success they're bringing with this rebuild. It's a blueprint to try to not 100% follow, but at least kind of follow for the Vancouver Canucks. So the more success for them, hopefully the more success for the Canucks as we go through this rebuild, but you never know. Carolina, I had beating Ottawa in 6 games. They ended up sweeping them. So, I don't know. I was saying in my I think I said in my video, Ullmark will show up for the playoffs, and Ottawa will look good, but they'll still lose. It ended up being Ullmark showed up, but the offense didn't, and Carolina took them down handedly to move on to the second round. Yeah, enough said. Then the last series, I had Pittsburgh beating Philly in 7. They ended up losing to Philly in 6 in a heartbreaker 0-0 overtime where the Cam York goal made it 1-0. They put Shelovs in just a little bit too late. I don't think they would have won the series. They put him in a little bit earlier, but just a little too late to put Shelovs in. Philly ends up moving on, and I was kind of also hating here because Tocchet is the coach of Philly, and I was just kind of praying on their downfall. I should stop doing that. Colorado versus what would have been Minnesota because Dallas ended up losing to them. I had Colorado beating Dallas, so I had Colorado going to the conference finals anyway. Colorado does end up doing that in 5 games. I thought that series would be closer as well. It was kind of just like, I feel like Minnesota would be at least good enough to give Colorado a run for its money. They weren't able to. Colorado moves on to the Western Conference Finals, and we'll get to that because we're 3 games into both of them. I'm recording this just after the Habs Carolina game, which I kind of spoil it, but we all know what's going on there. Then Vegas versus Anaheim, the series where I got both of them wrong going into the second round. Yeah, Vegas ends up, it's just their goaltending keeps up. They're able to beat Anaheim. They beat them in 6. Anaheim's run ends in the second round, but they at least get to 6 games in the second round. Really nice to see another blueprint to follow. They have a lot of top 10 picks in the past, 7 years, I think. So it's a good blueprint to follow for the Vancouver Canucks. You did a lot of top picks, and some of them might not hit. And there's also Leo Carlson and the Beckett Seneca kind of thing where maybe a pick that might be a little bit out there might be the best pick. So it's a little bit of a blueprint to follow when it comes to it. Maybe a Vigio Bjork kind of pick, you know what I mean, at 3. But I don't know. I feel like a trade back, you could get him or Carroll's, and he would be fine. You get extra stuff. But yeah, there's Anaheim and Montreal, good blueprints to follow when it comes to a rebuild. Anaheim's is a little bit more hey, you could go off the board and it could still work. Beckett Seneca looks really, really good. Carlson over Fantilli was, whoa, at the time, but it looks very, very good. Leo Carlson looks great. Montreal's kind of just everything to fall into your place. Getting Hudson in the second round, Demidov falling to them, Kaden Lindstrom going over, Artem Lavshutov going over him, and him falling to, I think, 5 to the Montreal Canadiens. Insane. I was so high on Demidov in that draft. I was surprised. I was like, no, they got Demidov? That's crazy. And I was so excited for his debut. But yeah, kind of some blueprints to follow when it comes to the rebuild for the Vancouver Canucks with those 2 teams. But Vegas does move on. That's the team we should be talking about. Montreal versus Buffalo. I had Tampa winning, so technically I had the right series going to the conference finals, but wrong team, as Montreal ends up beating Buffalo in 7 games in another great series. Just awesome to see. Very, very good hockey coming out of the Montreal series. They're down 2-1 currently to Carolina, but hey, they get one back, and it's a 2-2 series, but, Carolina just seems to be, although close games, running away with it, because Montreal just can't get shots on goal. But yeah, we'll get in that series later. Montreal versus Buffalo, another great close series. Really enjoyed watching. I watched the majority of those games, and very, very fun. Montreal takes it in 7. Yeah, very, very fun series to watch. Carolina versus Philly. Now, I thought Philly would at least give Carolina a run for its money. I thought Ottawa would give Carolina a run for its money. I thought Pittsburgh would at least do decent. I don't know if I said games because you don't do the games when it comes to this. And then I thought Philly would at least, do something. Tocchet's got a defensive system. Sweep. Carolina moves on in 8 games to the conference finals. Insane. Yeah, Carolina just strolled its way. Just hey, just like that. Just all the way to the conference finals. So the conference finals were set of Colorado versus Vegas, Montreal versus Carolina. They're very fun for me because I like Carolina. I've been to a couple of Canucks games where they play them. They're just a fun team to watch for me, but that's because I enjoy watching Aho Jarvis. I know they could play a little bit of a boring style. You know, they're like Florida Panthers light when it comes to it, but it's going to be very successful in the playoffs without Florida. So I could see them going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Montreal, that's the team I really want to see win. Like, it's just like I'll be happiest if Montreal goes all the way and wins. They're down 2-1 at the moment against Carolina. Tough to see, but 2 overtime games, it's still close even if they're not getting shots. That first game was not close. Montreal able to like shock Carolina in the first game, handing them their first loss at a big one in game one. But then then just 2 very very close games, and Ehlers with the OT winners, Svechnikov with one tonight, and yeah, Carolina has a 2-1 series lead, but it's only a 2-1 series lead. Right? It's not a 3-1, it's not 3-0, it's only 2-1. Montreal takes one, and we got a best of 3. So hopefully Montreal is able to take 2 in a row and just have those chances. But, you know, I can see Carolina picking up the next one and having a good hold on the series. Speaking of a good hold on the series, the Vegas Golden Knights are up 3-0 on the Colorado Avalanche. Who would have expected that? Yeah. Carter Hart's just been really, really good for them. Mitch Marner showing out. Finally, Mitch Marner able to go play good, and it's fun to see. As much as I don't like Vegas, it's really fun to see that he's doing good on a team that's not Toronto. But yeah, I don't like Vegas, but it's just so funny to see Marner doing well on another team. So yeah, 3-0 series lead for Vegas. I think they got it. I don't count out Colorado. Definitely don't count out Colorado. They got some injuries, though. Makar not playing up to par. He missed the first 2 games. Apparently, I wasn't able to catch the last game, but from what I was hearing, wasn't really wanting to take shots, especially one-timers. So that's not great to see. Nathan McKinnon blocked the shot late, and he was hurt. I think Nichushkin missed a little bit of the third period as well. They're getting hurt, getting banged up, and Vegas is just rolling. Could see them definitely. Like, they're the easiest to see going to the Stanley Cup Finals right now, but you don't count out Colorado. They could turn things around, but I think I see Vegas. I see Vegas going there, and half of it is I want to jinx them and it be a reverse sweep. But it's just an obvious pick. I see it being Vegas. I see it being Carolina. That's what the matchup I think is going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. It would be nice to see Montreal get there. But yeah, Carter Hart's playing out of his mind. Unless he slows down, I don't see Vegas slowing down at all. So my predictions for the Stanley Cup Final, although I thought it would be Colorado and Tampa, now with Vegas up 3-0 and Carolina up 2-1, I'm picking the teams that are ahead in the series, but the only team that I can see shocking, like in terms of the other team that's ahead, is Montreal. Colorado, like you can see it, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys when the Stanley Cup Finals are set. That could be soon. That could be far away. Don't know if it'll be Friday. Don't know if it'll be Monday. Hopefully, I'm able to get it in before the Stanley Cup Finals. So, but yeah, without further ado, that is it for this one. If you're a Canucks fan or an NHL fan and you enjoyed this kind of content, a little bit put together, I do apologize. But subscribe, leave a like down below, comment what you guys have thought about these playoffs so far. Do you think, obviously, like I just wish I could have done this in the conference finals to start, but then things kind of got thrown out of whack and this video got pushed back. So Vegas is going to get there. Who do you think is going to get there to face Vegas? Or do you think that Colorado comes back? If you're an Avs fan, you're hoping for that. But without further ado, the video on your right is the video from Wednesday. The video on your left is the video from Monday. Subscribe right down into there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.